Hey guys, and welcome to the Leftover Culture Review.
Greetings, viewers. This is Dr. Claw. You're watching the Leftover Culture Review.
But look, today we are not going to talk about consoles, who's better, Sega or Atari. We are looking at this computer game playing back here on an Apple Power Mac. It is War Planets. Now, War Planets was a phenomenon. Actually, you probably can't say that. It was a really little series from a company called Trendmasters based out of Canada. They had the cartoon, they had the toys, which came first, then they had the PC game pretty much to sell more toys. The reason I knew this game even existed was because as a kid, War Planets used to dominate an aisle in the toy section, and I used to love walking down it and checking out the figures. They looked amazing, and right there on the box for the deluxe playset, you could actually see a download link for the PC CD-ROM demo on the Trendmasters website. Get more kids to go check out the website and check out what toys they could collect. Because you couldn't just wage a full-scale war with one toy. You needed the whole collection, and you needed to beg and cry and plead with your parents to pick them all up, which obviously I didn't. I'm too cool to cry, so I only ever got the one toy as a kid. But I managed to build out my collection a little bit now as a mature adult living at home on his pocket money allowance. So I've got a few more War Planets to check out, and I figured now was a perfect time to go back and have a look at that PC game that I never got a chance to play as a kid. So the PC game really existed as a way to sell more toys, and I mean that literally, because the only way to get the computer game was to buy toys. Right there, printed on the box, you got points for buying the boxes of toys, which you could redeem for a version of the computer game. Now, you can't go to the Trendmasters website anymore. You can't get the game legitimately. You have to go through some pretty seedy channels to get your hands on the full copy of the game. And is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is anything I review really worth it? Do I really spend my time reviewing the cream of the crop of gaming? But we're going to check it out anyway. This is War Planets. So the screenshots for this game on the back of the box really made it look kind of epic. Plenty of CGI. Booting it up though, you're going to find a real-time strategy game here aimed at 7 to 8 year old boys, which is kind of weird, but I really do miss CGI, and not just for games. Like, this game had some really cool CGI opening, but you could make anything out of CGI in the 90s. The War Planets cartoon Shadow Raiders was entirely CGI, and it hasn't aged well, and it looks terrible. And like, realistically, someone could whip up that kind of CGI in their bedrooms overnight, just doing it ironically. But it was a big deal in the 90s. It was kind of like a rite of passage. As a kid in the 90s, you were just surrounded by this CGI, and it was cutting edge, and it was everywhere. It was in Reboot, it was in Beast Wars, it was right here in War Planets and Shadow Raiders. None of the CGI has aged well, especially like when you look at it in this game. But it's got a really distinct aesthetic look that you're not going to see anymore. No one does CGI like they did it in the 90s. That super metallic, super shiny, really basic look. It reminds me. It's nostalgic. It's a game I didn't get to play as a kid. So let's check it out now. You get to start off your campaigns by picking which planet you want to go into war with. There's obviously a bunch of different planets. Everything had a good theme about it. There was rock, there was metallic robots, there was biological bone planets, and you're out there defending each of the planets against the Beast Planet. The big bad guy, the Beast Planet. He was a really cool toy and a really cool enemy for this video game. CD-ROM, right? Like, everything was packed to the brim with FMV video. You couldn't get away from it. And then you go into battle and you something doesn't feel right. This is a real-time strategy game aimed at kids, 7 to 9 year olds. At first I thought my mouse was just like super sensitive, but like in all honesty, there's no scrolling. It's a real-time strategy game that doesn't scroll. You jump between the different, views of the battlefield, essentially. You get a little map and you can see the different blocks, but that's what the game is. It's a super mediocre real-time strategy game, and you need to summon your units one at a time from a portal on your end of the map and make it across to the other end of the map. All the characters in the game are based around the playsets. You can actually see your toys coming to life in the video game. So look, being big into War Planets as a kid, it was really cool seeing all these characters that I've had for years and years and years come to life and start fighting each other. Alright guys, let's get serious here just for a minute. I'm a pretty mature, clever, really intelligent guy hanging out here in my room playing PC games from the 90s on Apple computers. I've got a few strategy tips for you to help you get through your War Planets experience if you choose to go down the same path as me. No man left behind. Hop on board the Bruiser train and I will share my strategy and tips with you. First and foremost, the AI isn't particularly clever. Not as clever as us people, especially if you're watching Leftover Culture Review. Incredible people watch this channel. The AI can't compete. Look, they're always going to target the closest character. So if you've got someone who's blocked by terrain or blocked by a wall or something, they're always going to target that person, and you can snipe out the computer from a bit further away. They're stupid. Again, using snipers, the computer is always going to be moving. Usually there's a target or a goal that you need to reach, but they're also trying to get to your base to destroy your portal and overwhelm your team. If they usually come in at one at a time, so hopefully you don't get overwhelmed. And if you set up a sniper, you can usually take them out as they come into range one at a time and really let you reinforce your base and slowly move your characters up. And look, on the topic of snipers and having really good units, I don't go for the trash units in this game. You get a certain amount of like power level. You get like a certain amount of power units to use to summon in your characters. I always go for the biggest, baddest, hardest hitters. I would rather be controlling an army with 4 like really good units than 8 really trashy ones that aren't going to do the damage or create that impact you need. And look, we are busy, intelligent people. We don't need to be micromanaging everything. If you set up a really strong character to do the sniping for you, then you can focus on more important tasks to make sure your mission gets completed. And look, thirdly and lastly, your range is always a little bit better than the game lets on. If you target someone who's just out of your range, a lot of the time you'll still be able to hit them. It's a really good trick. The computer won't use it against you. It's yours. It's a little gift from me to you if you do choose to play War Planets. Not like I really expect many of you to give this game a second look. In fact, I don't really expect many of you to give it a first look. You watching this video, I'm not even 100% convinced you're really existing now. Could be a bot or a spider. You might also be a little bit surprised to find out that Trendmasters, the company behind War Planets, this wasn't actually their first dip into packaging action figures and video games together either. They also handled the ID4 Independence Day toy line that came packaged with little floppy disks, and you used to put the floppy disk in your computer and there was like a little mini game on it. Like, it wasn't edge of your seat gaming, but I know as a kid, getting a floppy disk actually felt really cool inside a packet like this. Like, now everything's downloaded, everything's on the App Store, nothing feels quite as tangible as back when I was a kid in the 90s and you used to get like your Independence Day. I remember getting like the micro playsets. Independence Day had them as well. I guess Trendmasters were all over that micro playset stuff. And if you like micro playsets, you might want to check out my Mighty Max line of reviews over on the Leftovers channel. So guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video of the Leftover Culture Review, all about War Planets. Great, yay, it's over. Look, if you really want to watch more Leftover Culture Review, I am not going to stop you. 100% committed to you really enjoying the channel, enjoying your stay. If you do like this sort of like weird sci-fi, unusual real-time strategy game, you might be keen to check out a review I did on Alien vs Predator Extinction for the PlayStation 2. I made the review a few years ago. It's a really decent real-time strategy game and I really like the way they balance the characters in it. It's obviously a lot better than War Planets Alien vs Predator Extinction. Check it out if you really want to. And if you're digging the micro playsets, like obviously we looked at a lot of War Planets today, but over on the Leftovers channel, I review a lot of toys and I've taken the opportunity to review as many Mighty Max figures as I possibly can. So there are a bunch of Mighty Max reviews over there, as well as a Ninja Turtle micro playset review and a couple of other toy reviews. If you're interested in that sort of stuff, I'd love to see you over there. I'd love to get to 1,000 subscribers on that channel. They recently cut off monetization. Not like that's a big deal, but it kind of reminded me that I need to work on that channel and talk about it and show people that there's some cool stuff over there too if you'd like to head over and subscribe. And look, if you do really want to play a better video game than War Planets, then please go check out the Leftover Culture Review website. We've got the official Leftover Culture Review video game available for free for PC gamers. Mall Madness. You're me. You're Bruiser. You're stuck in a mall. You lost your mum. It's a first-person shooter. You got to get your way back to the meeting point before mum grounds you for like a month. It was a lot of fun putting that game together. I'd love to hear what you think about it. And I'd love to see you next time for some more Leftover Culture right here on the Leftover Culture Review. Again, the only review show on the internet that really needs to come up with the idea of what they are before they hop on camera and proclaim it to everybody. Cheers, guys. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, share it with your friends, send a text to your mum, or tweet her, something.